Nutrition is just so vast. There's not a single person that is not affected by nutrition. It's really interesting when you hear it's in the news all the time. People have really strong opinions about nutrition but don't necessarily understand the background of why we should be eating certain nutrients. It affects everybody. It literally is our fuel as humans. And it's also really interesting to understand how different pockets of population are affected differently by certain foods, different needs of nutrition. I think you've got to have a real love of food, but to then understand what's going on within those foods and how it affects us and our bodies in general. My interest in nutrition is it stems from the fact that every single person is affected by nutrition. When I went to university after school, I went and did a undergraduate degree in psychology. And I was always determined that I was going to go into psychology. However, I changed my mind during the time that I was studying, and when I graduated I ended up going to work in the food industry. I had various roles within Sainsbury's, and I ended my career in Sainsbury's working as a buyer. It just fascinated me working with product developers on how you can manipulate foods, we specifically looked at taking out MSG in snacks and crisps, and how you had to work with numerous different ingredients developing foods. So consumers didn't actually know that we were making these changes for the better of their health, really. I didn't have any formal qualifications in food, and so I wanted to retrain. I felt that I needed to prove my ability to work in that area. So I came to Manchester Met to do an undergraduate degree in human nutrition. Just absolutely loved it. I initially thought that I wanted to go back into the food industry, but I started to really enjoy the human nutrition side, public health, understanding how nutrition affects different population groups, how society affects the type of foods that people eat. In some ways I've gone full circle, and I've gone back to, in part, understanding not only food, but the psychology behind nutrition, etc. I do just love food, and I could sit for hours and hours poring over recipe books. Product development side that's what you're doing as a job. You're sitting and you're looking at what ingredients go together, what complements each other. But also, if you get to that nutrition side, it's like removing salt, removing sugar, making things better for people. That's not as straightforward as it sounds, and you have to really understand food, understand the ingredients, how it all fits together to make something that people ultimately are going to enjoy. Because if people don't enjoy what they're eating, it doesn't matter what really is in there, they're not going to eat those foods. I'd say my proudest thing is when working in Sainsbury's, or if you go and work in any food industry role, is seeing your product on a supermarket shelf. Now, one of my products is still out there in Sainsbury's, and every time I go past it, I have to point it out to my children. I developed that, and you're really, really proud that you've actually done that and that it's out there for the public to eat. And then again with teaching here, it does sound like a total cliche, but when students walk past to graduate, you are really proud, because we do become a bit of a family, and it is like watching students grow through those 3 or 4 years and seeing how proud they and their family are when they walk past that stage at graduation.